Coming to you live at home and in quarantine, wala nang intro-intro. Today we will talk about the Filipino national identity.
However, we will be presenting through memes we found in social media.
Why memes? It's because they are the reflection of our thoughts in social media. So today we will discuss a few memes, what they show, and the different aspects of Filipino identity that can be observed through them.
And after all that, we will gain a better understanding of why exactly these memes are not just as simple as we think they are. And we will also see what makes these memes Filipino.
Yup, through these memes we'll be able to analyze the underlying issues and implications that we don't immediately see at face value.
Congratulations! Isang Pinay na naman ang umahon sa kahirapan. Isa kang tunay na bayani. Mabuhay ka Pinay! Mabuhay! 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 Mabuhay!
I'd say this is a pretty classic Filipino joke. I think the foreign sugar daddy and the marry for a green card jokes are pretty strong themes in our humor. As you can see, this viral video shows a Filipina with her foreigner boyfriend being cheered congratulations mabuhay by her friends. We can see two Filipino identities at play here. First, the woman in the video is being portrayed as the Filipino gold digger stereotype, noting her friend's words, isang Pilipina na naman ang nakaahon sa kahirapan. This collective identity of Filipino women can be traced back to the mail order bride phenomenon, where American men were known to order Filipino women online. Because of this, it has become a common notion that Filipino women aim to marry Western men to get out of the country and be more financially stable. The colonial mentality of Filipinos is to be blamed for this. After being colonized through decades back then, we still have a sense that Americans and their culture are more superior. Because of this, Filipinos tend to idolize Americans or dream of being with them. The second identity is the crab mentality, being embodied by the woman's friends. Filipinos are known to have crab mentality, or the act of pulling down others who are rising to their success. While they are not pulling her down up front, we could see that even if it's a form of a joke, the implications are still there.
Surface nationalism. Now, it is okay to take pride in Catriona and Manny Pacquiao. However, this act of taking pride can even be as low as commenting Proud Pinoy under a YouTube video which mentioned the word Filipinos or the Philippines. This Pinoy pride mentality leads to surface nationalism, which actually has tons of layers in it. One of it is our inferiority complex as a response to centuries worth of colonialism. Now, because of our inferiority complex, we think of ourselves as the lesser people. That's why we try to be more, to constantly prove ourselves, and sometimes we become racist towards our fellow men. Also, because of this, we ask for that validation from foreigners, and once they do is where hubristic pride comes in. Now, hubristic pride by definition is a facet of pride arising when an accomplishment is attributed to one's ability or traits. Now, in the Filipinos' case, that trait is race. So, for example, when a Filipino wins in an international contest, other Filipinos will think that that person won because he is Filipino, completely invalidating their hard work and effort to get to the top. Also, it also sends a message that Filipinos are more than other races, which again stems from our inferiority complex. Now, this hubristic pride, Filipino pride, and inferiority complex leads to surface nationalism. And as the name implies, surface nationalism is only on the surface. What happens once you're done hailing or praising Catriona Gray and Manny Pacquiao? Or after you're done commenting Pinoy pride? Nationalistic ka pa ba? Will you still take pride in being Filipino? Or will you just turn a blind eye to the incompetencies of the government and you will be afraid to speak out about all the bad things that is happening in our country, the injustices? Think about it. Surface nationalism actually is really bad because it serves as a token that nationalism is something na pwede nating ibigay, and once we do, then we can just go on with our lives.
This meme embodies some attitudes of Filipinos, especially now, in the middle of the pandemic. With movement restricted by the lockdowns, the news and the internet grasp everyone's attention. People have more time in their hands to read and be updated about the current events in our country. This pandemic has somehow exposed our government and their dirty tactics. Millions of Filipinos have lost their jobs, but the government still prioritizes POGOs. They said that we no longer have funds for welfare programs, but our national debt has actually piled up to $1 trillion. The health department's COVID-19 control proves to be inefficient, while the president only relies on a vaccine to solve the crisis. Frontliners are begging for assistance, but PhilHealth executives manage to steal billions of pesos. And lastly, we also saw the true nature of our Congress for the passing of anti-terror bill. The meme portrays all of these events that happened during the pandemic. Administration loyalists still think that Everything is all well because of the president's 91% approval rate. As the world burns, the supporters of the administration are blinded by their fanaticism, not realizing they're affected too. This is a common Filipino trait. We praise politicians as if they're gods and idolize them to the point where supporters defend them no matter what. We also have this utang na loob mindset, where we think we're supposed to be loyal to these people because they've done something good, while actually disregarding the abuses. We tend to forget that they're the ones who are serving us, not the other way around. Another identity we can observe from the meme is the collective struggle of Filipinos, especially the youth, in demonstrating their nationalism by voicing their dissent with the use of social media. By using a seemingly simple meme, the Filipino youth's message is conveyed easily, and as it reaches more people, they are able to engage in the discourse as well. Well, if there's one thing that seems to unite the Filipino youth, it's the disappointment towards the government.
Bare Months is basically the Filipino skew to be in Christmas mode, where we prepare for Noche Buena, invite relatives over. Some Filipinos abroad even make it an effort to go home because after all, it's Christmas. Also, because our country is mostly Christian or Catholic, we tend to hold Christmas into such a high regard. Another thing is, we don't just celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. We also celebrate it in Simbang Gabi or Misa de Gallo, which happens every year at December 16 to 24. This particular Filipino culture is one of the many influences of Spanish rule over our nation. However, because of Miss Rona and her unexpected visit, we may not be able to do this culture and tradition this year. We don't even post about Christmas, we just post about online class, the government, the pandemic. However, this doesn't mean that the Filipino Christmas spirit has died. Actually, Filipinos were able to insert some light or to insert some positivity during the dark times, and that is through Jose Marichan, which is the face of Filipino Christmas memes. Filipinos are editing him with face mask and face shield, and then putting the text "See you next week," teasing the incoming peak of Christmas season.
It's no secret that the Philippines is a place where English-speaking tourists can travel without worry, as the English language is pretty much our second language at this point, considering that it's a medium of instruction that we encounter every day. However, although the average Filipino may be able to understand and express themselves in a conversational level, this doesn't necessarily mean that their accent sounds like those of the native speakers. While the thick accent is not something that everybody can readily change nor control, that hasn't stopped it from becoming somewhat of an inside joke and an identifier for us Filipinos. Foreigners pretty much expect us to have some kind of accent when we speak English, and would be more surprised when we don't, sometimes even assuming that we're not raised in the Philippines. The Filipino accent is pretty much the equivalent of the Asian accent that they expect from East Asians, and the Latino accent that they expect from South Americans. Funnily enough, a poll conducted in 2019 by Big 7 Travel has revealed that the Filipino accent is the sexiest accent in Asia. It doesn't change the fact that impersonations of Filipinos tend to highlight the thick accent and broken English in a comedic vibe. Nonetheless, it's something that we have learned to just accept and laugh at, even incorporating the gag into our own. Well, what causes the thick accent? The Filipino accent can have quite a few variations and are influenced by the many dialects we have in our country. Every dialect has its own manner or personality when spoken, and because we usually speak our mother tongue on our regular days, the natural manner of speaking sticks when we shift languages to English. Moreover, the Spanish nature of Filipinos has encouraged us to read words phonetically, which results in staccato pronunciations and overpronounced letters, which clashes with the more complex pronunciation of most English words.
I wonder why this memes became so viral though.
Simple, it's because they're true. These memes are flaws we've acknowledged in ourselves and chose to laugh at.
Why laugh at them? Why not be offended by our broken English, our bad government, our embarrassing surface nationalism, and our gold-digging behavior?
Because it's in our very nature as Filipinos to smile and laugh everything off. Filipinos are happy people. We always find ways to turn our negative situations into something we can all feel warm about.
Even with our flaws?
Especially with our flaws. We identify with these unique characteristics so much so that the humor within these memes encompass the definition of Filipino. You can't find this kind of energy anywhere else.
I agree. I also think that since humor is deeply engraved in our identity, these memes are a great way to send across the message about the issues in our society and in ourselves as well.
I think we were able to discuss some pretty interesting points today.
I think so too.
We hope you enjoyed this video too as much as we enjoyed making it.
Thanks for watching. Until next time.